Hi.
We want to welcome you to this edition that is having a loving and enjoyable marriage. And today we are going to talk about supporting each other. And that is a Christmas edition. So we want to welcome you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, we are hoping you're having a great time during this Christmas time.
Yes.
And the song that our kids have been singing, I think it's becoming our favorite this Christmas. I think we're going to sing one line.
Yes.
All I want for Christmas is you, baby. Okay, we're really having a Christmas edition, and we're going to talk about supporting one another.
Yes.
Yes.
And from the Bible, from the very beginning, God had the idea that we should be able to support one another. And we want to read from the book of Genesis, the very first book of the Bible. That is Genesis 2:18, with the Amplified. What it says, now the Lord said, it is not good, beneficial for a man to be alone. I will make him a helper, one who balances him, a counterpart who is suitable and complementary for him. That verse by itself, it talks a lot whereby God has going to give us a beneficial supporter who is good to be with us, to complement us in so many areas of our lives.
That's good. So we're going to just relax and learn that we are called into marriage to support one another in this companionship. You want to know every day of your life that you have support from your spouse. So that's a big one. So we are for each other. We're in one team as a married couple all the time,
And it starts from very early when people are courting and they're in that courtship period or they are dating. It needs to start from there.
Yes.
Because you realize that you need to support one another from the very beginning. Like I remember when I was dating her and I would go to their home. So many things that I needed to know at that time, and the only person that I knew who can be able to speak for me is her. So even when people are starting from the very beginning, that is dating, they are courting, you need to know that you are in one another's team. You're one team that is going to work and agree together.
You want to realize that you're one another's advocate. You speak up for each other. It's very, very important to know that, So
you need to be also supportive for, we need to also support in the early time of our marriage. Whenever you get married, you realize that actually, you are different in so many areas when you come together as a married couple. But you realize some of the virtues that the other person has, you might be having different virtues. You look for those virtues that are good, those characters that are good quality, and then you try to utilize those characters so that you can be able to work together as a married couple. And let me tell you, that will be a strength for both of you.
So it's very important to listen to one another.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes even what somebody may not be saying, but it's very important to listen to one another, be sensitive to their feelings so that you're each other's supporter all the time. Very important, yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
Speak well for, speak well of the other.
That's
to your
true.
family members. Sometimes you speak for other, for those opportunities that you can be able to speak well for about the other person. And sometimes, among the family members, among social settings, among, your friends, and even co-workers, look for those opportunities that you can talk very well about your spouse. Because if there is no one if others are not speaking well about your spouse, be the one who can be able to speak well about your spouse in many settings that you have.
Yes, I like putting it, even women. And he told me, even men, we don't want to encourage that small talk where you can easily just throw negative things about your husband or your spouse. It's very important to speak well of them, to be their biggest advocate. Not unless it's in a constant situation. Other times, you don't need to, to speak negative about the other person. You're their supporter. You speak well of them. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
And I would like to say that what you said, be intentional, whereby you purpose that you are going to talk well about your spouse, and especially in those social settings that you are going to be together, because as a couple you may have those social settings. If you are given an opportunity to speak, make sure that you are going to highlight your spouse and speak well about it. And let me tell you, even your hearers they'll be blessed when they hear that you're talking well about your spouse.
Men like affirmation. Be intentional. Speak something about him that is positive. And I cannot tell you, when we have gone out, maybe in a church in front of a congregation, or we are among relatives, especially his side of the family, and he speaks up well about me, that I cannot tell you how it blesses me. And it causes the other people to also treat your spouse with respect. So you support each other through your mouth. You create that atmosphere of respect, speaking well of your spouse. That's very, very important, yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. It support also each other on the daily mundane, the daily activities of life, whereby you are going to purposely decide, I'm going to support my spouse, and especially when the children are there and they are young, make sure that you are going to be there to support that person. Because if you don't support that person, there might be no one else. And sometimes they get overwhelmed, sometimes they keep quiet, and then they are getting overwhelmed in one way or the other. Please be the person who is going to initiate that help and support for that person.
Should men help with little things like dishes, grocery, laundry, if the wife is overwhelmed?
Actually, for men, let me tell you, that is a point where we need to step in. Remember, this person, she need help, and especially let me talk about the people who are in diaspora, because we don't have house help here, people to help. We don't have relatives who are here. Those little things that seem to be not for men, like now, dishes, cooking, and also doing grocery. If you help in that one activity, it's one activity out of her schedule. Let me tell you, it becomes much more bearable for her, and also for you, and also for the family, and also for the marriage.
Can I tell you, when I'm cooking and I'm making chapati, you roll the fly, and he comes and helps, even without me asking him, he leaves his, whatever he was doing, and he comes and turns the chapati for me. I cannot tell you how I feel so encouraged,
And it takes shorter time to do that when you're both of you.
Yes.
Because the part that I'm going to do, she's not going to do.
Yes.
So you find cooking those chapatis will take a shorter time.
Yes.
Just because I stepped in, and I just, that small act, it ministers to her. It also ministers to me, because as we talk, we have those conversations that we could not have had elsewhere.
That's true. And when the chapatis are done, I'm not so tired. You have time to invest in your relationship. So those little things matter.
And I also help so that I can be able to eat the first one.
Okay, very good. Let's come. How do we support each other, especially in career development?
Yes.
Thanks for your support. He has really supported me in my career.
When you get married, that person has career and aspiration that you'd like to pursue, I would advise all of us that let's be supportive with one another. Make sure that if those opportunities come for that person to advance in her career or his career, grab those opportunities and look on the way it can be able to work.
Yes.
And let me tell you, when you do that, your family is going to develop from one level to another. And I can give a very good example here. She got a scholarship to come to the US. And I had the ability to say, no, we are not going to go to the US because you are settled in Kenya. But that act of getting that opportunity and saying yes, let me tell you, it opened doors. Yes. Not only for her, but also for you as a family, as a family unit. And that's how we came here, because her scholarship, it funded her. And it funded her when we came as a family. Now here, even me, I got the opportunity to study. If I could have said no from the very beginning, I don't know whether we could be where we are. But I want to say, if those opportunities come, please be supportive.
It's, help each other with those dreams and aspirations.
Yes.
He supported me, and then I was to support him.
Yes.
So he was in school when I finished school, and he was in school for a long time. And I was the one, working. And you cannot even tell, because you're one team.
You're one
supporting
team.
one another. So sometimes somebody may not work for a while, maybe to go to school or whatever, aspiration that person have. You support one another. You're in one team. When they succeed, you succeed. When he has a graduation, we cheer. Yes. When I have a graduation, we cheer. It's so that nobody is left out.
And I want to say this for men. Men, I want to encourage you, when your wife advances, you advances too. Because, as long as it's done with that respect, let me tell you, when you both advance, let me tell you, with the time as years goes by, no one you feel was left behind
Yes.
because they got into this marriage situation. But it will be a blessing as you reflect and you see what God has enabled you, both of you, to achieve as a team.
Awesome. And with aspiration and dreams comes the issue of finances.
Yes.
How do we support each other financially?
Yeah, when it comes to the finances, let finances be a resource that we are going to use to mold and even to build us. Let not be something that we are going to contend and even pull one another. If God has given you those finances, let it be a place whereby you can be able to use those finances to be a blessing to your spouse,
Yes.
to be a blessing to their family members, and let it be not something that is going to make us apart and pull us
true.
apart.
Yeah. When we got our marriage counseling, we still remember the reverend who gave us the premarital counseling told us, when money comes, put it out there. What we mean by that, let it not be the center of your relationship. Money should serve us, not us serving money. You can't even tell whether we have money in the bank or not. Our relationship should be similar. It should be the same. The money should serve us. The purposes that need to be done in the family. It should not be a bone of contention between you two,
Yeah, that is very true. And give the other person the freedom to spend that money. As long as they are not extravagant, whereby they are going to use money anyhowly, give them the freedom to use that money, because that money has come so that they can be able to serve both of you.
That's true.
And I want to say this. For men, sometimes our needs might not be as much as the needs for our ladies that we have, because they need makeups, they need so many other things that they need, that we may not be able to be very keen on our side. So when they spend that dollar, they spend another one because of those needs. Be understanding and let them spend it. After all, God has given you that resource. Let it be a blessing to your wife. Let it be a blessing so that when she looks cute and beautiful out there, you are so proud of her.
Well, thank you so much. That's true. I remember in high school, my
Yes.
mom would always remember, you're going, you need to buy oil and the other feminine needs that a lady has. So, it's good to give her the freedom, provided she's not extravagant. Thank you for that freedom.
And that is true. It's good to know one another, because I know my wife. I don't know about others, but I know my wife. Whenever something is very expensive, even when it is so good, it diminishes. The goodness disappears right there. But it is good to know that, as long as that person is not spending money anyhow, give her or give him the freedom to spend that money, because it's beneficial for both of you.
And it's also very important to know that it's good to have financial goals as a couple.
Yes.
And, give them some examples that...
Yeah, it is good to have financial goals. Like
Yes.
now, a very good example, you need to sit down and say, we need to be out of debt
Yes.
at a particular time.
Yes.
And then you achieve that objective. Make sure that you're going to achieve that objective by working progressively towards that goal. You put the objective there and then you work towards it. And let me tell you, when you work as a team, knowing that's what we are going to do, you are going to beat it, and you're going to meet the objective, and then you continue doing that. You may say, we want to start a business.
Yes.
And then you start, you have an objective, and then you move on and move on. Now, let me tell you, it becomes a blessing when you have those financial goals.
It's very important. So even when you have other goals, like we want to save a little more.
Yes.
We want to be a little more thrift. We're in this together. We are supporting each other. Those financial goals that we have. So we are simply saying, when the money comes, it's there to serve us.
Yes.
We're not there to serve, to be served by that money, for the money, for us to serve the money.
Yes.
So really, it's very important that we follow through on that. Yeah.
Yes.
What about emotionally?
We need also to support one another emotionally. It is very good for us to be very sensitive to each other emotions, and to know that even though those emotions, when they come, we should be able to, to take, don't take one another for granted. We may be different in one way or the other, but let us be able to support one another emotionally. Some emotions may be too high, whereby you are going to need support for one another. Be supportive to one another.
Sometimes life is hard. Somebody could have lost a job, or somebody could be sick. So we want to be the first person to lend a shoulder,
Yes.
to lean on to our spouses. We don't want to make life even harder for them. For example, this year, he just lost his very, very close brother. So you're sensitive to each other's emotion, And, when somebody's not having the best of day, be patient with them, It's not every day they are all smiley, but you're
Yes.
patient with them and making life easier for them. Maybe make some chocolate for them. It's cold out there. Something to just make them more comfortable, Yeah.
Home should be a shelter where people come, where things are hard, they can be able to pour themselves, and especially the spouse, the husband and wife. And then when you pour yourself, you know that the person is going to receive you with a positive view.
Yes.
And they are going to support you. I like when I come home when things are hard out there and I tell my wife the day was not very good. I know she's going to take another view of support. And that support make your day, make the following day to be a little bit better for you and even for her and even for the family members.
Yes.
So let it be a place whereby we come and we are supported emotionally. Let it be intentional whenever it comes to supporting one another emotionally.
It's very important. Even little things like a little text to your spouse can encourage them.
That is very true.
That's very
Even
true.
a little text. Even make sure if you do other things, just text. Sometimes you actually find things in the course of the day, and then somehow I text her, and by the end of the day, she remembers, do you know what you did to me?
Yes.
And that is very encouraging. You think of that person and then text her, and let me tell you, it may make her day or his day very good.
Let me give you an example. The other day, I think it was just this year.
Yes.
I was just at work. It was not, one of the best days. And then he had seen this from another WhatsApp group. And he forwarded to me that the meaning of my middle name, I'm Jerry, it means warrior. I have never really known. I've always known it just means the road. But it also means warrior. I was like surprised. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a warrior. I got so encouraged to get through what I was going through.
Yes.
It just happened this year. So those little texts, but he's very fond of sending funny texts also. They really are funny.
I like the funny ones.
So let's do that. So yeah.
But there's also supporting others. It is good also to support others one another during hard times.
Yes.
Hard times comes, and when they come, let me tell you, it is good to stand and support one another during those hard times. Because when they come, I don't know where I could have gone to or I can go to. If I don't go to my wife, where else? I can run to Jesus. Jesus, you comfort me, but the next person that I should be able to run to is my wife. Same to her. She should be able to learn to me. When those hard times comes, make sure that there is somebody that you can be able to learn to, and that is your spouse, and support that person so that they can be able to go through those hard times with a lot of ease, because you have given them the comfort to do that.
And with dignity.
Yes.
Especially when sometimes it's the wife working and the husband is not working. That financial support, you're doing it, and you're doing it with dignity and respect, and knowing that one day you will be the one who needs the support. So very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Spiritually.
Now, when it comes to the spiritual
support.
aspect,
Yes.
you also need to support one another spiritually, whereby take time to pray together.
Yes.
Take time, take moments to pray together, commit your ways to God together. There is a saying that says when people pray together, they become one or the more. So take time to pray together with that person.
So sometimes we know that when we learn something during our quiet time, on our own, take time to come and share. Let the other person know what God is ministering to you. That sharing is good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah.
And at the same time, it is good also to look at another person, and then you look, their area of talent, where God has talented them and given them, and especially when it comes to the ministry, like somebody may be a good teacher of the word, a good preacher, a good evangelist out there. If it's one of your spouse and that burden is in them to do that, be supportive.
Yes.
Whereby you are going to support them financially, support them when they go to those missions where be there, be the one who will be number one cheerleader for them. And let me tell you, those talents or those what God has put in them, it's good to blossom because they have support from home.
I know, like when he needs to minister and I'm able to go with him, supporting that person, not just praying for him,
Yes.
but also physically being with them, supporting them. Let not a day pass before we've prayed for our spouse.
Yes.
Let's pray for each other, support each other. Let's be our first, the cheerleader for our spouses.
Yes.
Yes, that's very important. Yeah.
So it is very important for us to support one another in the ministry too.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to say thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you so much. We want to appreciate the way you have supported us in the previous episode. We want to say thank you. May the Lord bless you and do you good. And we want to wish you Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And a Happy New Year.
Yes.
May the Lord bless you and do you good. May the Lord's favor shine upon you as you go through this Christmas and the new year. May the Lord blessing and favor be upon you. See you next year. May the Lord bless you and do you good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.